Hey everybody, Sunday, August 10th, out in the garage. A humid day today. Looks like we're threatening some afternoon thunder showers. We've been working on our Camaro a little bit. We took the rubber nose piece off of it, and the 70s excuse for a bumper off the front. And I haven't got an awful lot farther than that. But yesterday we did go, and I found a fella online who had a lot of race parts for sale, stuff that we could use, wheels, wheels, seats, all kinds of engine parts, stuff like that, all kinds of stuff that when you're starting from basically scratch, especially with a car that you don't really mess with that much, you don't have anything, so you have to acquire all this stuff. And I mean, realistically, we need wheels, tires, probably at a minimum. What we should have is four. We'll have 4 wheels and tires on the car, and we should have at least 4 spares that we can take with us as well, and other stuff, gauges and stuff like that. So when we got down there and got looking at the thing, and I'm remiss that I actually didn't bring the camera with me, I never even thought of it, but very, very nice people that we met. They've been racing for a long time. This particular gentleman, they're asphalt racers. They primarily race at the All-American Speedway in Roseville, California, and their shop was just about 1.5 miles from it. And they have 6 race cars, and it turns out that why they were selling a lot of their stuff is they've just purchased a late model race car for the local NASCAR series that's over there. And the late model, I mean, he had it there, and it was absolutely a very, very cool car. They're building an engine for it, so he's downsizing on all of his other cars. So I got looking at a lot of the stuff he had there, and he actually had a race-ready Camaro that they built new in 2013, and it's been raced, I think he said 13 times. And magnificent job of chassis work and cage and stuff like that. That absolute whiz. The guy's admitted he's not a super good welder, but he's got a partner who's just a fantastic welder. Really good looking stuff, so I really like that. Of course, that was all that was for sale. A little bit out of my price range, even as and he offered to sell, I mean, anything he has in whatever condition, he'd sell it race ready, sell it as roller, stuff like that. So I really like that Camaro, but it was a little bit out of the reach money wise, for sure. But he had another, and that was down there what they call a street stock car. So, but easily could be converted to a hobby stock, no problem there. And he also had a later model bodied Monte Carlo street stock as well, and same thing, no engine in that. He was going to sell that as a roller, but that was really out of my price range. And he had a roller modified, NASCAR asphalt modified. That was pretty cool. I took a long hard look at that. That could be converted to dirt, and that was dirt cheap. I mean, I still may go back and buy that, actually, to be honest with you, just to clean it up, do a couple things, and resell it. It's that cheap. And lots of other stuff we looked at, and then we came across our rolling chassis, and I got looking at it, and the rolling chassis, kind of an interesting. It's a GM full frame car. It was no body on it, and it was last bodied as a 81 to 88 Monte Carlo, and I thought at first it's like, well, okay, yeah, it's a metric chassis. And he says, no, it's not a metric chassis. He says it's something a little different. And I said, well, you got to explain that. He says, what it is, it's a early 70s Impala frame, and they took the frame, they cut the frame all apart, This was many years ago. The car's been a race car for a number of years. They took the frame apart and they put it back together. They widened it and they shortened it. And the car was originally built and raced as a street stock on asphalt. It came off there, spent some time as a hobby stock on dirt, and went back and spent some more time as a bomber car on asphalt, and now it's currently sitting. Like I say, it's a rolling chassis, got wheels and tires on it, full cage. The cage did have a couple of issues on one side that they were actually repairing. They were changing some bars and stuff in there. The rear end that's in it's a GM 12 bolt. I think it's a 373 geared, and he wasn't quite sure. He wasn't sure if that has spool in it or not. That's one thing he didn't know. Disc brakes all the way around. It's got a fuel cell in the back. It's got all gauges, switch panel. Everything is in the car. The steering column is there. The steering column's been done, with the quick release wheel. And the cage is just magnificent. The way the car is built is very, very nice. And it's a very straight car. It's never been bent. And, so I said, well, what do you want for that? And I tell you what, the price that he threw out there, we jumped on it. We had to have that. I didn't bring it home yesterday. We went down with the Subaru, so I'm actually going to go next weekend and get it and bring it home. So, that being said, we're kind of in a trying to decide mode, and I'm not really sure which way we can go with it. The car was last bodied as a Monte Carlo, like I say, 81 to 80 Monte Carlo. The only panel that's still on the car is the roof panel and the very, 3 inches of the rear quarter panels from like the door to the back of the car. That's all that's still on it. Everything else is off. He says the body on it was, pretty beat and banged, and they were going to reskin the car when they started working on it. So my quandary, I guess, and we're not really going to know until we get the chassis here and we can measure on it and see what is what. But I'm kind of thinking that depending on, and I think the only place that I would have a problem, I believe that between that particular chassis and the Camaro, I think the wheelbase is about the same. And the only thing that would be different is the way that they did the roll cage, up around the roof. The Monte Carlo sheet metal has a squared off, more squared, where the Camaro is more round. I mean, you see where I'm going with this. My thought is, if we can get this chassis, there's 2 ways that we can go with it. We can rebody the car. I mean, it's definitely the way to go on the chassis. I mean, we saved a ton of money buying this rolling chassis compared to what the cage was going to cost us in the Camaro. So that was a no-brainer. But now, like I say, the decision is how do we want, and that actually completes basically everything we got. He did put a seat in. He threw a seat in with the car. I'm kind of working on him a little bit. He's got 3 GM Power Glide 2-speeds, and we may be getting one of those with the car as well. Like I say, the rear end's in the car, all the front suspension's there. The chassis is actually set up. I don't think I would change a thing, and I would try it and see how it worked the way it is. The car was last raced, as he claimed, by one of his nephews, and had tremendous success on it, on asphalt. And asphalt versus dirt, is a little bit different animal, but typically the dirt tracks around here, very quickly in the night, they'll start to dry out, and they go to what they call the dry slick condition. So you're always searching for traction, which is very similar to racing on asphalt. It's the same. So, I mean, usually a good asphalt setup will be pretty close to, a good dry slick setup. So I think it'd be worth a try anyways. But, so the body, and then we have our engine. We have 2 turbo 350 transmissions. I mean, all of that has to be gone through, but we're gathering stuff. So, and now we have a seat. Now we have gauges. Now we have, there's 4 Bassett wheels on the car, which is great. I mean, there's more money in parts on the car with the fuel cell and all that than we actually paid for the whole thing. So, but the body is the one thing that we're going to have to see. We could say we could rebody the car as a Monte Carlo, as it last was. Or my question is if we could actually take our Camaro and we'll actually use all the skin off that, and we'll rebody this chassis as the Camaro. So we'll have to wait and see until we get that back and we start to do some measuring on it and see how that'll work out. So that's what we got going on with that. Hasn't really been an awful lot else happening around here. We're getting very excited. The YouTube Garage Gang get together in Kansas City is coming up at the end of the month. I think we have, today's the 10th, so we have a little more than 2 weeks before we'll be leaving. Camera Girl and I will be attending. We hope to be there. We'll probably be there on Thursday night, which I think is the 29th, I believe. Let's see. iPhone makes me so smart. Thursday night, the 28th, is when we're thinking of arriving. So we'll stay there through Sunday. Looking forward to that. Meeting a lot of the guys. A lot of my Mumble gang will be there. That'll be really cool. So we're looking forward to that. First vacation in a while, and we're just gonna. After that, we've still got like another week, and we're just gonna. I haven't decided quite yet what we're gonna do, but we will be driving the STI out there for that. I'd rather drive than fly. You can see more stuff. So, anyways, that's going on. Give you a quick look at the Camaro. Les knows. We did clean the garage up significantly. We got it in. As you can see, the Turbo 350 that's in the Camaro has a pretty good leak that I had to clean up when I moved it out today. But, yeah, there you go. So yeah, I mean, if at all possible, I would love to use this body. And, I mean, as it is, there's a lot of other parts on the car that we're going to need and we could use anyways, so we're all good with that. But if we could use the body, that would put us, once ahead, kind of farther on the game. So, but we won't be able to really tell that. Like I say, my concern is the basic shape of the Camaro roofline. I mean, if second gen Camaro is very rounded here, where the Monte Carlo it's more squared off, especially back in this area here. It's a lot square, so I don't know. We'll just have to see. And that's the beauty of this type of thing. Now, the other question I have is rules. I mean, the difference between a Monte Carlo and a Camaro, the major difference is essentially the rear suspension. The Camaro, as we can see up under the car, is a leaf spring car, where your Monte Carlo is the GM metric chassis, which is a coil spring car. So completely different characteristics as far as the way the cars react and handle. In a lot of ways, the metric chassis has become the chassis of choice. The Camaros have kind of lost favor. And actually, the Camaros in a lot of places, they don't even run anymore. They belt load them. I think the Camaro is easier and more forgiving to set up and drive. But the metric chassis, when set up properly, is a faster chassis. So, but my question is, and see, this is a hobby stock, the rules basically say that the body must be stock appearing. That's all it says. It doesn't say. I mean, we're still Chevrolet to Chevrolet. Either way, we still have, you know, you have to match Chevy drivetrain with Chevy body. We could essentially take that other chassis and we could put a Ford engine and transmission in it and rebody it as a Ford and be legal. So that's not really a big issue. But I guess my question is, I don't know if there's a problem if we take that chassis and we do body it as a Camaro, but it's actually a coil spring car, because it is different. So I don't know. I'm going to have to try to find out if on that we're just actually even wasting our time. We shouldn't do that. The Monte Carlo body panels are widely produced and they're actually very, very cheap, to put it back that way. So that's not an issue. Although it's not as cheap as something that you already have that you don't have hardly anything in. So I don't know. We'll see. And that's the current quandary. And as we can see, it's definitely not a John Kerry day here. It was nice and sunny earlier, but now we've kind of gotten into, yep, is it going to rain or not? So we're just kind of out here messing around. We may actually change some body panels on our old Subaru. I don't know. I haven't decided on how ambitious I am. We've got, this car has got issues all the way around. We do have that other car back there, which other than the hood, the front bumper, and the right side doors, everything is really good. Both front fenders are really good. The two driver's side doors are really good. The rear deck lid has a cool dual spoiler setup. So we may swap over some of those body parts onto here. Like I say, the hood, as you can see, the hood is damaged on the very corner. It is a different blue, but it is closer than green. So we might do that. I don't know. We could, change these two doors out, which are relatively wrinkled. The biggest thing would be we can change the, swap out the seats. The seats in this one are badly stained. The seats in that car over there actually are pretty good. Stuff like that. So, I don't know, that might keep us busy for a while, but like I say, it's a kind of a lazy Sunday afternoon. I'm not really sure how much I want to do. So anywho, that's what's happened there. Just thought I'd make a little video updating what's going on, and that's about it. So tonight, of course, is the Mumble. You guys that have kind of forgotten about that, come on back on, check it out, chat with people. And I guess probably, I don't know what I'm going to do this week, but probably until I get that chassis next weekend, I'm not going to take too much more apart on the Camaro, not knowing what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use. So I guess that's about it. So until the next time, as always, take it easy.